Hello and welcome. I'm Neha Khanna and you're watching America 360. Let's get you all the big stories from the US tonight. Donald Trump is now openly embracing Project 2025, a controversial blueprint he desperately tried to distance himself from during the 2024 presidential campaign. In a post on his Truth Social site, Trump announced he would be meeting with his budget chief, Russ Vought, of the Project 2025 fame. Trump's declaration marks a dramatic U-turn as he had spent much of 2024 denouncing Project 2025 and claiming he had nothing to do with the Heritage Foundation's massive proposed overhaul of the federal government, which was drafted by many of Trump's longtime allies and current and former administration officials.
That multiple times.
What have I condemned?
Project 2025.
Yeah, I have nothing to do with Project 2025.
And they come up with this, I don't know what the hell it is, it's Project 25. He's involved in Project, and then they read some of the things, and they are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme. But I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it. But what they do is misinformation and disinformation, and they keep saying, he's a threat to democracy. I'm saying, what the hell did I do for democracy? Last week, I took a bullet for democracy.
During the campaign trail, Donald Trump repeatedly brushed off Project 2025, calling it seriously extreme and insisting he had nothing to do with it. Cut to today. President Trump, 9 months into office, facing a government shutdown, and suddenly embracing the very plan he once rejected. On Truth Social, Trump wrote, "I have a meeting today with Russ Vought, he of Project 2025 fame, to determine which Democrat agencies, most of which are a political scam, he recommends to be cut. Whether temporary or permanent cuts, I can't believe Democrats gave me this opportunity. Maybe this is their way to quietly and quickly make America great again." That's a full-blown U-turn. Trump is now openly pushing Project 2025 as a playbook to weaponize the shutdown, shrinking the federal workforce, cutting agencies, and consolidating power. But what exactly is Project 2025? The controversial conservative proposal to massively overhaul the federal government, which was drafted by many of Trump's longtime allies and current and former administration officials. Project 2025. The key points would put entire federal bureaucracy, even independent agencies like the DOJ, under direct presidential control, calls for ending civil service protections, replacing career officials with political appointees, labels the FBI bloated, arrogant, lawless, and demands sweeping overhaul, wants the Department of Education abolished. Democrats see this as the mask slipping. Kamala Harris, who lost to Trump in 2024, wrote on X, "This was always the plan. Project 2025 is Trump's blueprint to seize unchecked power and restrict freedoms, and he's implementing it right in front of us." And the timing? Explosive. The shutdown entered its second day after Republicans blocked a healthcare spending bill. Trump, meanwhile, is crystal clear. He'll blame Democrats if federal employees are fired or if projects are permanently scrapped. He said, and I quote, "There could be firings and that's their fault. We could cut their favorite projects and they'd be permanently cut." Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who was targeted by Trump through an AI-generated video on the president's Truth Social handle, continued his attack on the Republicans.
Republicans have shut the government down because they don't want to provide health care to working class Americans. House Democrats continue to be here, on duty. House Republicans are on vacation. We are ready, we are willing, we are able to sit down with anyone, anytime, any place, including the president and the vice president, to try to find a path forward, to reopen the government, enact a spending agreement that actually meets the needs of the American people, while at the same time addressing the Republican health care crisis. Unfortunately, Republicans have shown zero interest in even having a conversation.
House Speaker Mike Johnson has hit out at Democrats, accusing them of prioritizing benefits for illegal aliens over American workers as the US government shutdown entered day 2. He has warned that the shutdown has handed President Trump sweeping powers to effect mass layoffs and funding cuts. Johnson also defended Trump's controversial posts targeting Representative Hakeem Jeffries, urging Democrats to just ignore it as tensions escalate in Washington. Trump had posted a meme featuring Jeffries wearing a sombrero, that's a broad-brimmed Mexican hat, and sporting a mustache. The Democrats and many others have said the meme has overtly racist overtones.
Real pain is being inflicted upon the American people because 44 Democrats in the Senate have voted for the third time to reject the completely nonpartisan, completely clean, very simple 24-page continuing resolution that we passed in the House here 2 weeks ago. So we did the logical, simple, good faith thing. Instead of loading up a continuing resolution to keep the lights on, to keep the government open so this process can continue, instead of loading it up with poison pills or gimmicks or tricks, we sent over a very simple continuing resolution that every single Democrat in the Senate has voted for in the past, just to keep the government open for the people, so that we could get to November 21st, 7 weeks, to allow more time for this process to play out. That is what happened. Now, the Democrats did something they've never done before. Chuck Schumer has led them all to vote against it. Everybody's been discussing this for the last few days. Why in the world would Chuck Schumer do a 180-degree turn? Because he said passionately, as recently as March of this year, on the same instrument, the same CR, that it would be reckless and irresponsible and dangerous to close down the federal government. Why did Chuck Schumer change his tune? Everybody knows that now. He's trying to avoid a challenge from his left flank in his next Senate re-election campaign. Well, welcome everybody to day 2 of the Democrats' shutdown. Let's make absolutely clear what's happening here. Real pain is being inflicted upon the American people because 44 Democrats in the Senate have voted for the third time to reject the completely nonpartisan, completely clean, very simple 24-page continuing resolution that we passed in the House here 2 weeks ago. Now, why did we do that? For a refresher for everyone. We have been working very hard, this leadership team, to get Congress working again. Congress has not done the appropriations process appropriately for many years now, and so we have forced the muscle memory back. Our appropriators have done a great job in bipartisan fashion, by the way, and they've worked very hard and passed 12 separate appropriations bills through the committee as is supposed to be done. We passed 3 of those off the House floor. The Senate did its work. For the first time in years, the Senate passed 3 appropriations bills off the floor. Those bills don't match up exactly. So the way the system works, everybody remembers from civics, is that when the 2 chambers have bills that don't align perfectly, you put together a conference committee. That's been done. All of that work's been done very deliberately, very carefully, and as good stewards of taxpayer resources. The problem is we ran out of time because the end of the fiscal year is September 30th. So we did the logical, simple, good faith thing. Instead of loading up a continuing resolution to keep the lights on, to keep the government open so this process can continue, instead of loading it up with poison pills or gimmicks or tricks, we sent over a very simple continuing resolution that every single Democrat in the Senate has voted for in the past, just to keep the government open for the people, so that we could get to November 21st, 7 weeks, to allow more time for this process to play out. That is what happened. Now, the Democrats did something they've never done before. Chuck Schumer has led them all to vote against it. Everybody's been discussing this for the last few days. Why in the world would Chuck Schumer do a 180-degree turn? Because he said passionately, as recently as March of this year, on the same instrument, the same CR, that it would be reckless and irresponsible and dangerous to close down the federal government. Why did Chuck Schumer change his tune? Everybody knows that now. He's trying to avoid a challenge from his left flank in his next Senate re-election campaign. And he wants to avoid the scrutiny that he received for doing the right thing back in March because the far left and the base really went crazy on poor Chuck Schumer. And so he changed his tune. And now they're trying to pretend it's about something completely different. They have made a decision that they would rather give taxpayer-funded benefits to illegal aliens than to keep the doors open for the American people, to keep vital services, veteran services, healthcare and nutrition for women, infants, and children. They would rather not pay the troops and TSA agents and Border Patrol agents. They would rather stop services of FEMA in the middle of a hurricane season than to do the right thing for partisan political purposes. It is selfish, it is reprehensible, and it is exactly the opposite of what they have all said themselves in their own words very passionately every day until now. We've been playing the greatest hits loop here on a video right outside the Speaker's office for days. You've all seen it. Make them answer for that. Don't ask the Republicans what we should be doing or what we should be negotiating. I don't have anything to negotiate. I sent them in good faith exactly what they had voted for before. We did not put any Republican provisions in that, and we tried to make this very simple, in good faith, so the appropriations process of the people can continue. Now, there's been a lot of talk about, they say that we're making this up, this illegal aliens receiving taxpayer benefits. It's a talking point, they said. I want to remind you of a couple of key facts. Everybody can remember, I think, back to 2020. In the presidential debate for all the candidates on the Democrat side, you might remember famously they were asked the question, raise your hand, they said on the stage, if you believe that illegal aliens should receive health care paid for by American taxpayers. Every single one of them raised their hand, to great applause in the audience from the Democrats who were there. Those hands included Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Now, what did they do? Did they follow through on that promise? Yeah, they absolutely did. Joe Biden used executive orders, and he expanded benefits, health care, to illegal aliens in his 4-year term. That was an outrageous violation of the existing federal law and of the principles of good stewardship. Those resources are not meant for people who break the law and come into our country. They're meant for U.S. citizens. And so they watered down these health programs. It was terribly dangerous. So we got the majority. President Trump has returned to the Oval Office with a mandate of 75 million Americans, this big popular vote win.
Portland's ICE director has warned that the facility has been under nightly assault for over 100 days now. Camilla Wamsley has accused city leaders of tying the hands of the police, leaving federal staff vulnerable. She has alleged that the agents are bombarded with rockets, rocks, lasers, and they're even followed home. 6 ICE employees have been doxxed as tensions spiral out of control. Homeland Security blames Antifa-linked groups for orchestrating the chaos. Trump has ordered 200 National Guard troops to Portland to protect federal property.
Federal immigration officials in Portland are warning that their facility has been under nightly siege, with violence stretching on for more than 100 consecutive days. In an interview with Fox News' Bill Maloogian, ICE Portland Director Camilla Wamsley painted a grim picture of escalating attacks, saying city leaders have tied the hands of local police by instructing them not to intervene. Wamsley described her frustration at watching federal employees attacked outside the building, while ICE officers inside lack jurisdiction to step in. It's frustrating for us to watch people be attacked on the street and know that we don't have the authority to be able to really step in unless there's some nexus to federal law. The protests, she argued, have shifted from political dissent to outright violence. Wamsley detailed how bottle rockets have struck the ICE building, rocks have shattered its windows, and lasers have been aimed at officers' eyes. Crowds have also barricaded entrances, blocked vehicles, and in some cases followed staff home, with at least 6 employees reportedly doxxed. According to Wamsley, these gatherings can swell at an alarming rate. We've seen it before. The folks here can go from a crowd of 50 to a crowd of 1,000 in 30 minutes, she told Fox News, adding that ICE often has just 20 officers on site. She admitted that such numbers make it impossible to defend the facility against larger, more aggressive groups. The Portland Police Bureau, meanwhile, has been accused of standing down. Wamsley claimed that city policy, shaped by the mayor and city council, has slowed or prevented responses. even in cases where assaults occurred in plain view just outside federal property. That is not the stance they would take 6 blocks from here, but it is the stance they take with us because of guidance from the mayor and city council. Despite the nightly confrontations, Walmsley insisted her team remains committed to enforcing immigration law. The people that work here are here to serve the American public, she said. Nothing has changed in that regard since the 1950s. Homeland Security officials are now pointing to Antifa-linked groups as organizers of the violence. Todd Rignall, Assistant Special Agent for Homeland Security Investigations in Oregon, told Fox News that federal agencies including the FBI, ATF, DEA, and IRS are now involved in countering the unrest. President Donald Trump has responded by ordering 200 National Guard troops to Portland, where they are expected to support immigration authorities.
Let me be very, very clear. I am a career prosecutor. If you touch a law enforcement officer, it is a crime and you are going to jail. We are arresting anyone who touches any of you. If you touch a federal officer, it's going to be assault on a federal officer, and we have our U.S. Attorney here. And to all of you state and local officers, let's see what your DA does, because he better prosecute crimes against you, because we have your backs now.
The move comes just days after a gunman attacked an ICE facility in Dallas, leaving 2 detainees dead and another wounded. Investigators say the shooter's shell casings were inscribed with the phrase, anti-ICE.
Donald Trump has now declared drug cartels to be unlawful combatants, saying the United States is now in an armed conflict with them. The move comes following recent U.S. military strikes on alleged Venezuelan drug cartels in the Caribbean. Trump has effectively declared that trafficking of drugs into the U.S. amounts to armed conflict, requiring the use of military force, a new rationale for past and future actions. Federal Bureau of Investigation Director Kash Patel has fired a long-time employee who displayed a pride flag in his workspace during a past assignment. According to a CNN report, the employee was undergoing new agent training at the FBI's academy in Quantico, Virginia, when he received a letter from Patel ordering his immediate dismissal. In a previous non-agent role with the FBI, the employee, who has received multiple awards for his service, had also been a field office diversity program coordinator and displayed a pride flag at his workstation. And finally, artificial intelligence is no longer just a helping hand for our work-related assignments. For some, it can also be their romantic partner, or so it seems. Vantage Point Counseling Services undertook a survey which found that a staggering 28% of Americans, that's 1/3 of the country's population, has an intimate or romantic relationship with an AI chatbot. More than half of those surveyed, 54% to be precise, said they had some sort of a relationship with an artificial intelligence platform that had included as a work colleague, friend, or even simulating a family member. Romancing an AI chatbot? Is that what romance is going to look like in the future? Who knows? Well, that's all the time we have on this edition of America 360. If you have been, thanks for watching. Have a great weekend ahead. Do join us again at the same time on Monday.